Hi all, this is a very quick review with my recent experience using Airalo eSIM. My experience is going to be with Bali, but obviously you can use the eSIM across the world in various locations. So let's get straight into the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more travel content, and let's get into it. Okay, so what is an eSIM firstly? Just before I start the video, well, an eSIM is an electronic SIM. So basically you don't need a physical card or physical SIM card. You literally can leave your SIM card in the phone. You don't have to touch it at all. In this video, I'll actually show you what it looks like on the phone, just for those who are curious. However, Airalo has a very wide network of I guess countries out there. There's three choices. You can buy the country direct. So I bought mine with Indonesia. It was $11 for 3 gigs. And you can also buy regional ones. So if you're going different regions, so with Asia, for example, they service 14 countries. So as you can see here, it's slightly more expensive, $13 over $11, a couple more dollars. However, if you are visiting a couple of countries in here, say you're going to Thailand and Malaysia, well, it might be more worthwhile buying this instead. And finally, they have the global eSIMs. So obviously there's more countries in that eSIM. However, it is only valid, it's much more expensive, $24 from $11, and I think it was $14. And so obviously, if you're visiting a lot of these countries and you're doing, some kind of world tour, then global eSIM might be the answer. And you're definitely buying the convenience of an eSIM. Generally, I think if you can get a local SIM card, it will be a lot cheaper. However, for example, in Indonesia and Bali recently, tourist eSIMs were being clamped down on, and it was really expensive to get a tourist SIM. I think it cost like $40, and it depends, and it was very depending on the cost-based price of your phone. So the more expensive your phone was, the more expensive the SIM card was. Basically, they wanted to charge tourists high tax. And so an eSIM actually is a great way to kind of get past that barrier. So it depends where you want to go. With Indonesia, we got Telekom. I think Telekom Indonesia, or whatever it's called, one of the leading telecommunication services in that country. So you'd obviously want to check if that is a leading service provider, depending where you want to go. So if I click on Indonesia here, and I want to buy in, it should tell me where the service provider is. So as you can see here, it's Telkomsel, not Telekom Indonesia. I stuffed it up there. However, it is one of the leading Indonesian service providers out there. So if you want to go and check, you should 100% check what they're going to use. So for example, if I click on Japan, let's see what they have. I haven't actually clicked on Japan. So they use a KDDI. I'm not 100% sure if that's a leading communication provider in Japan, but you should double check. You should always obviously buy it if it is a strong communication provider in Japan or wherever you're going. In my opinion, you should double check if that service provider is strong in the area you're going to as well. In my opinion, that's actually something that people overlook a lot. Even though it might be a strong provider, it might not be a strong provider in the area you're going. So you should double check that before you buy an eSIM. You should do a bit of research, because obviously you're going to be frustrated if the service provider isn't very strong in the area you're going, whatever your country you're going to. So 100% double check that first. Now, I got that all out of the way. Let's talk about my experience. So I'm going to go into the next tab here and show you what it looks like. So before I actually go to that next screen, I'll show you how I bought the eSIM. So basically how it works is, let's say I want to go back to, I'll buy, an eSIM for Singapore. So I'll click on here and I will click on which one I want to buy. And then I will buy, so Singtel is a pretty good one for Singapore, obviously. So I'll check out and I will basically complete the order. I will chuck in below the vouchers which you can use. So I think you can refer and you get $3 off. So I'll put a voucher below and a link to get $3 off your next eSIM. I'm not going to use this probably again for a while, so I'm not making any money, but it'll save you $3 basically. It'll probably save me $3 as well, but I'm probably not going to be using this for a while. But however, anyway, moving on. So once you've bought the eSIM, you'll get a QR code. You will scan it, which I'll show you on my phone in a second. But basically, I'll show you my eSIM, which I bought for Indonesia, just to show you that, I had an eSIM. So what it'll look like here, it will show you the details, how much data you have and stuff like that. You can top up. And this is very important. An eSIM, most of the times, can be only installed once. Don't delete it. Once it's installed in your phone, don't delete it. You'll get a QR code, you scan it, you'll save it into your phone, and then do not delete it. So I'm gonna go show you on the phone how it looks like and what you should avoid. Okay, so I'm on my phone right now. I went to the SIM card manager. I use an S21 Ultra. So make sure you have a phone that's compatible with an eSIM before you do this. If you don't have a compatible eSIM, a phone that's compatible with eSIMs, well, you can't do it, unfortunately. So sorry about that. So once you find out your phone's compatible, once you've got the QR code, you scan it and you go to your SIM card manager. Obviously it's a bit different depending on what phone. As you can see here, it has my eSIM there. All I need to do is then activate it once you save the eSIM, and once you turn it on, you're pretty much good to go. So I would obviously not turn it on until I actually arrived in the country. And for my experience, once I turned it on, I could immediately use the internet, which was great. So basically, you can check your messages and stuff like that straight off the plane. And I just basically turned off my other eSIM, my normal eSIM back here in Australia. Now, what I mean by don't remove or delete it, as it said on the website, is when you click on it, there is a remove button here. They'll give you a prompt here, as you can see here, telling me, do you want to actually remove it? Do not remove it unless you're obviously done with the eSIM. But basically, I would make sure do not remove it, because once you remove it, you can't add it back. So you pretty much just wasted money. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a more of a interesting, a bit of a view of how it looks like on your phone. But in my opinion, very easy to use, super simple to use. As long as you follow the instructions, they have instructions here on how to do it. So if I go to eSIM installation, they'll show you the QR code. Your eSIM is already being successfully installed. So honestly, once you've installed it, and just make sure you don't remove it. And yeah, it's as simple as turning it on as you're in the country. I think personally, as long as you manage your data, so as you turn off data, put on data saving options on your phone, make sure your random apps aren't downloading stuff. You're probably not going to use that much data, honestly, if you're traveling, in my opinion. And just remember, it is data only. You don't get calls or anything, but generally data is just pretty much the most important part of travel, to be honest. You don't really need to make calls, because emergency calls should be free globally, in my opinion, but don't quote me on that one. However, really easy, really simple to use. And yeah, I think personally I would get it if I'm going to a country where SIM cards are really hard to get. There are tons of countries out there which SIM cards are really easy to get. So it really depends on what country you're visiting. But for Indonesia, it was really helpful. With Indonesia, cracking down on travel tourist SIM cards recently, it was a very great, easy alternative. Especially if you compare the cost price and getting an eSIM. Sometimes it is actually more worthwhile to get an eSIM, but generally you are sometimes paying a bit of a premium for that convenience sakes of organizing your SIM card pre-hand. But once again, I think personally, very easy, pretty good. And for this review, I think it's a 5 out of 5 for me. Pretty simple to use, does what you need to do. And yeah, prices are generally quite reasonable. So yeah, hopefully this video helps anyone out there looking for an eSIM and wants a review on it, as well as what it looks like on your phone and how it works. Hopefully this video helps, and yeah, don't forget to check out my other videos and let me know what else you want to see, and thanks again.